बैठो। शुरू करा दें। सालिया हारिस साहिबा तिलावत।
ينزغنك من الشيطان نزغ فاستعذ بالله إنه هو السميع العليم. The following is a translation for verses 31 to 37 of Surah Hamim Sajda. I seek refuge with Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and ever merciful. As for those who say, our Lord is Allah, and then remain steadfast, the angels descend on them, reassuring them, fear not, nor grieve, and rejoice in the glad tidings of the garden which you are promised. We are your friends in this life and in the hereafter. Therein you will have all that your souls will desire, and therein you will have all an entertainment from the most forgiving, merciful God. And who is better in speech than he who invites men to Allah and does righteous deeds and says, I am surely of those who submit. And good and evil are not alike. Repel evil with that which is best. And lo, he between whom and thyself was enmity will become as though he were a warm friend. But none is granted it save those who are steadfast, and none is granted it save those who possess a large share of good. And if an incitement from Satan incite thee, then seek refuge in Allah. Surely He is the all-hearing, the all-knowing.
Please stand up for pledge. इस वक्त जर्मनी में भी इज्तिमा हो रहा है। जर्मनी की लजना भी खड़ी हो जाए इधर आने के लिए। अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वहदहु ला शरीक लहू व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वहदहु ला शरीक लहू व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाहु वहदहु ला शरीक लहू व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूलुहु I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, the One, without any partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and his messenger. I affirm that I shall always be ready to sacrifice my life, property, time, and children for the cause of faith and the community. I shall always adhere to truth and shall always be prepared to make every sacrifice for the perpetuation of the Ahmadiyya Khilafat. Inshallah. Please be seated. Nazm Saloni Rashid Saiba.
These verses which are being recited, they are from the poetry composed by Hadhrat Masih Maud. It says that the expression of gratitude for Allah the Exalted is beyond human expression, beyond what words can describe. And it is through this word of Allah Almighty that we have come to have the sign, proof of the existence of Allah. And that light which we find from this book that will be not available in thousands of other books. It will not be there in thousands of books. Because of the blessings of this book, our heart and soul has been purified and cleansed. And that became its own mirror to reflect what is inside. That path which shows us the way of Allah the Exalted and Glorified, that path which shows the person of the Allah Almighty, the Most Exalted, Most High, and that path which makes the heart absolutely pure and clean. And that path which pulls back to us that friend of us who has been lost. That path which brings back to us that path that brings back to us that beloved who was forgotten or lost. And that path which makes us drink that pure drink which is pure and full of conviction. And that path which is a very profound argument for His existence, the existence of Allah. And that path which is the perfect way to actually acquire God Almighty.
उसने हर एक को वही रास्ता दिखाया.
This book has shown everyone that true path.
हर एक को
This book has shown everyone the same pure path.
दिया. जितने शकों को
And all the doubts and suspicions
सबको
which were there,
मिटा
all of them, they have been eliminated.
कुरान खुदा नुमा है. खुदा
The Holy Quran is the book which shows God Almighty, and this is undoubtedly the word of Allah.
खुदा नुमा है. खुदा का कलाम
Quran shows the God Almighty, and it is definitely the word of Allah.
उसके
And without that,
मारिफत
the whole garden of perception of Allah Almighty
तमाम
is absolutely incomplete. If that is not there, the garden will be completely incomplete.
हार जज़
The gratitude to Allah Almighty, the most glorified, the most high and perfect, is impossible to be expressed in words, and through whose word, that is the Holy Quran, we found the clear proof of his existence.
उसका मिला निशान.
जी
Huzur says
by the secretary.
this report by General Secretary is to be presented now.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Beloved Hazur and dear sisters, Assalamu alaikum. The Lajna year 2011-2012 is coming to an end, and both Lajna and Masroor members across the UK have alhamdulillah been active in participating in Talimi, Darbiti and fundraising activities. The United Kingdom celebrated the Diamond Jubilee of Her Majesty the Queen this year. Lajna Ima'illah supported the Jamaat in participating in the Jubilee celebrations and held various events throughout the year to raise a total of £50,000 for the Queen's charities. In addition, all members were made aware of the significance of the book Tuhfa Kasiriyah. Nationwide, 6 marathon walks were organised, and money was also raised through Mina Bazaar stalls and donations. The marathon walks alone raised over £33,000. The Majalis Khidmat-e-Khalq secretaries have continued to work tirelessly throughout the year to raise funds for various charities. The main highlight for this year was raising funds for the Adopt a Village scheme. For this purpose, Majalis held local and regional stalls selling food and household items, holding Mina Bazaars and placing collection boxes at local meetings. By the grace of Allah, Lajna Ima'illah UK has managed to support 3 villages in Africa. The Sanatul Tijarat Department has worked extremely hard throughout the year, and participation by the Majalis has increased. The theme for raising funds has been the Queen's Diamond Jubilee and the London 2012 Olympics. 109 local Mina Bazaars were organised, and the total income generated for the year was almost £80,000. The Ishaat Department has been very busy in a number of projects, including translating and creating booklets, and one of its key achievements is that for the first time, 3 editions of Al-Nusrat have been produced by an all-Lajna design and production team. A special edition was published commemorating the Queen's Diamond Jubilee with reference to Tuhfa Kasiriyah. The Nasrat website is a popular resource for Nasrat. New activities and articles are added constantly, and slides of Hazur's Friday sermon and the book of the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ are on the site. The Lajna website was redesigned this year, providing easy access to up-to-date resources and activities for all members. This year, the Talim department has started a 20-minute-a-day reading campaign of Jamaat literature, which has been successful, alhamdulillah. Regular lesson plans covering the syllabus were distributed to the majalis throughout the year. The Tarbiyat department started several new initiatives. This included coffee mornings for mothers with young children, teen workshops for girls aged 14 to 20, and youth camps, of which the first was held in Islamabad. The Nasrat syllabus this year has focused on topics to increase the Nasrat self-esteem and knowledge as Ahmadi Muslim girls. By the grace of Allah, 34 bats have been achieved by Lajna this year. The Tabligh department hosted the annual Lajna Peace Symposium. The event was entitled Peace, an Illusion or an Attainable Reality, and was attended by 115 guests. Alhamdulillah, we are approaching the 4th year of the 10% campaign. By the grace of Allah, the majority of the regions have participated and fulfilled their obligations to distribute to schools, libraries, and GP surgeries. May Allah, mashallah, each region approach this work with great enthusiasm. The Norma Buying department has continued with helping new sisters integrate into the Jamaat. Study circles have been established across Britain. This year, the department also launched an online monthly newsletter to support their religious education. In addition to organising the marathon walks, the Health and Fitness Department held a sports day, a badminton tournament, and a majalis-wide competition to commemorate the Olympics. The Ziyafat team, along with many Lajna and Nasrat volunteers from across the UK, enthusiastically served food and refreshments at all major Lajna functions throughout the year. Currently, there are 2,086 Lajna Musis in the UK, and 142 members have applied to enter the blessed scheme of Wasiyat. The Finance Department prepared a comprehensive finance programme this year to educate members on the importance of all Islamic and Jamaat chandas. By the grace of Allah, Lajna UK exceeded both their Tariq Jadid and Waqf Jadid targets. Report on Lajna Shura. The Lajna Majlis Shura began at Battle Futu on Friday, 12th of October before Jummah, continuing after prayers and lunch. 4 proposals were deliberated on by the delegates covering Tarbiyat, Tabligh and finance. A full report with suggested implementation will be submitted to Huzur Aqdas for approval. The Lajna and Nasrat National Ijtema 2012 proceedings started on Saturday with recitation of the Holy Quran, followed by the Tilawat, English and Urdu competitions. 81 Lajna and 2 Nomabain participated in the competitions. All 14 regions and 99 out of 99 majalis were represented at the Ijtema. Yesterday's attendance figure was 4,155 compared to last year's figure of 3,894. The theme of the Ijtema this year was the excellence of the Holy Quran. The Talim department organised an exhibition that was assigned to all regions based on this theme. The aim of the project was to illustrate and highlight the beautiful qualities of the Holy Quran. The regions worked very hard on these projects, and they were displayed and judged during the Ijtema. Topics covered included prophets mentioned in the Holy Quran, fulfilled prophecies of the Holy Quran, science and religion, and rights of women, and barda. Sadr Sahiba addressed the Lajna Ijtema at the end of the first session yesterday. In the address, Sadr Sahiba reminded Lajna of the importance of self-assessment and requested Lajna to focus on strengthening relationships within their families. She reinforced that the time had come for Lajna to become role models. She went on to say that Lajna should also strengthen their relationship with Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih, Ayadahullah bin Nasr al-Aziz, by ensuring that they listen to Huzur Aqdas's addresses and by following the guidance therein. So the Sahiba stated that further that Lajna should focus on their relationship with Allah the Almighty by beautifying their salat and ensuring that it was meaningful. Over the weekend, 153 Nasrat participated in the competitions, which included Tilawat, Nazm, Urdu and English speeches. An overnight accommodation was provided for over 250 guests. The Lajna Rishta Nata department held a forum on Saturday evening for mothers and daughters. Currently, the head count is 5,950 compared to last year's figure of 5,885. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. The prize distribution क्या है?
Huzur is asking about the prize distribution.
Prizes हैं, medal तो नहीं ना?
Huzur is asking it's only the prizes, not the medals.
We will now, Hazur Akdas has agreed to
कहाँ जाना है? हाँ.
give out the prizes for the overall achievement awards for the year for the Majalis. The Majalis were divided into 3 groups, and these are the results for the small Majalis, Group 1. First place was for Newcastle Majlis. Second place was Woking. And third place was Swansea. The best overall achievement in Group 2, which were the medium size Majalis, first place was Earlsfield. Second place was Islamabad Majlis. And third place was Wandsworth Majlis. Wandsworth. In Group 3, for the large Majalis, the first place goes to Tooting Bec Majlis. Second place is Roehampton Majlis. And third place is Wimbledon Park. The next awards are for the best Majalis for Nasirat. In the small groups, the first place goes to Swansea Majlis. And there are 2 second places, Bournemouth and Milton Keynes. And third place goes to Oxford. In the medium-sized Majalis for Nasirat, the first place goes to Earlsfield Majlis. Second place goes to Putney. And third place goes to Huddersfield South. In the large Majalis groups for Nasirat, first place goes to Tooting Bec. Second place goes to Fazl Mosque. And third place goes to Inner Park. Third place to Inner Park. We also have some Sanatul Tijarat Awards for regions who raised the most money this year. And first prize goes to Batul Nur, who raised nearly £3,000. And Middlesex region, who raised £1,674. And Hertfordshire and Bedfordshire region. We also have a prize for the Majlis who raised the most money in the last year, which was Stevenage Majlis, who raised £2,015. We also have awards for from the Health and Fitness Department for those marathon walks which raised the most money. The regions that raised the most money for first prize goes to Batul Fatu. Second prize goes to East region. And third goes to Batul Nur. The Ishaat Awards, the Ishaat department held an essay writing competition on the blessed institution of Khilafat. The first position for English competition goes to Samina Isa Haq from Bradford North. And Samia Isa Haq, the first position for Urdu competition goes to Samia Sultan from Glasgow. The final award is for the Quran exhibition displayed at Ijtema, and the first position goes to the Islamabad region.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. अपनी बात शुरू करने से पहले जर्मनी की लजना को सदर साहिबा अगर मुमकिन हो तो अपनी हाज़िरी की रिपोर्ट भी भिजवा दें. यहाँ की हाज़िरी 5000 थी, 5000 समथिंग. हाँ अच्छा.
The attendance here was nearly 5,000.
Hazrat Masih
Masroor says that the promised Messiah ﷺ, the purpose for which Allah Almighty had sent him, that was that purpose which was the purpose for which the Holy Prophet ﷺ came to bring about a pious revolution. And Allah Almighty told the Holy Prophet ﷺ that you tell the people that I have been sent to call all the people of the world to one God Almighty in order to establish justice and also to advise the people to take care of the rights of other and duties towards other people. So this was the purpose and this was the message. In order to spread that, the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his caliphs, they worked very hard. The companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, while in order to achieve this objective, they brought about a pious change in them. They also did their best to spread this message in society, and they offered their sacrifices as well for this very purpose. In these sacrifices there were men and also the ladies. Even the children were there and the youth were also there. In the history of Islam, we see their remarkable incidents. We read there. So it was very necessary that when the promised Messiah ﷺ has come to further promote the mission of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, so then those people who believed in him, that is the Ahmadis, they also had to give the sacrifices for this purpose. And by the grace of Allah, in Jamaat Ahmadiyya, people from all ranks and all sections, in various situations. They have offered various types of sacrifices, and they will have to give these sacrifices in future, because the progress of the religious community is not a bed of roses. The communities which are going to dominate the world, they cannot prosper, they cannot win the world by living in comfort. So in the world, every Ahmadi lady who lives anywhere in the world, they must remember that if they have to become the part of the progress of the Jamaat, then they have to give the sacrifice of their self, they have to give the sacrifice of their life, the sacrifice of their progeny, the sacrifice of their wealth, the sacrifice of their sentiments, and also the sacrifice of time. So only then we can be successful. As long as, along with the men, the ladies are not ready to offer these sacrifices, and unless every member of the Jamaat, young and old and child, they are not ready for these sacrifices, we cannot have acceleration in the progress of the Jamaat. Therefore, Hadhrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, when he took the pledge from the men, he also took the pledge from the ladies, which we have just repeated after me, that we are ready to offer our life and our wealth and our time and our progeny. We will always be ready to make the sacrifice of all these things. And in order to establish the institution of Khilafat, we will always be ready. And the history of the Jamaat Ahmadiyya is a witness to the fact that from the beginning of the Jamaat till today, the Ahmadi ladies, they have been fulfilling this covenant whenever the need required it. And inshallah this will be done in future. At this time, for the sake of Jamaat Ahmadiyya, the various sacrifices which were offered by the Ahmadi ladies, I am going to present some examples that how Allah Almighty enabled them to give the sacrifice for the sake of the Ahmadiyya Jamaat, and they showed steadfastness in that. First of all, which I am going to mention, that is the steadfastness and attachment with the Jamaat, and that is clear from there. And that is the Hadhrat Sayyid Abdul Latif Sahib Shaheed's, his wife. That was his the way in which he conducted herself after the incident of martyrdom. After the martyrdom from the government of Afghanistan, various types of tortures were inflicted upon them, and one is really torn into pieces when they listen to that. But they showed remarkably a meritorious steadfastness. And his wife all the time said that if because of Ahmadiyyat, me and my children, they are going to be martyred, then on that, I will be extremely grateful to Allah Almighty for that. And not an iota of change will be there in my belief about Ahmadiyyat. This was the expression of the great wife of that great martyr, Hadhrat Sayyid Abdul Latif Shaheed. And then similarly, the history of sacrifice goes on. In 1974, the ladies who passed away, they are mentioned in the history of Lajna. For example, Mohtarma Rashida Begum Sahiba, wife of Qari Ashok Hussain Sahib, in 1974, she accepted Ahmadiyyat. She was from Sangla Hill, a city in Pakistan. In the way of Ahmadiyyat, every torture and sacrifice she bore very happily, and her death also took in a tragic way. Her own son, because of Ahmadiyyat, he attacked with the knife and killed his mother. And one lady, the one who offered, is Mubaraka Begum, wife of Muhammad Salim Bhatt Sahib from Chwinda. On 2nd May, for the Tabligh purpose, she went to a nearby village, Dogra Naim, and she was sitting at the house of a new convert that an opponent attacked her with knife and injured her very seriously. She was taken to hospital. 13 bottles of blood was given, but the decree of Allah prevailed, and she could not survive. And in this way, she offered her life in the way of Allah Almighty. So this is the sacrifice. This is the sacrifice of an Ahmadi lady in the field of Tabligh. There are out of so many incidents like that. Hadhrat Muslim Maud Razillah Ta'ala Anhu says that when in Qadian, the Hindus and the Sikhs, they attacked, then outside of the Qadian, in outer part, they were all assembled in one area, and the leader of them was made one lady. And now this is the boldness of one Ahmadi lady. She was from Phera, and this lady showed the good example, even better than men. Regarding these ladies, the news came that when there was attack was there upon them from the Hindus and Sikhs, those who came with weapons and swords and guns. So these ladies would repel the attack. And this lady from Phera, she was who was appointed their leader. She was in the forefront. And nowadays this judo, karate are taught, and she was there. Lajna should also try to understand the tricks of self-defense instead of wasting their time. And then Hadhrat Muslim Maud Razillah Ta'ala Anhu says, and the good training which the mother did to her children, the things which she put into the minds of their children, the effect of that is clear from this example. Hadhrat Muslim Maud says that a few days ago, one officer from Sheikhupura, who had done the course of BCG, he wrote to me that for the sake of religion, I want to devote my life. I said, very good, I will consider that how can we benefit from your services for the community, but tell us, to which family do you belong to? He said, have you Sufi Abdul Khalik Sahib of Jalandhar, have you know that? I said, yes, I know. He was a very famous Peer of Jalandhar, and their one daughter used to come to Qadian. And he said that that lady who used to come, that is actually my mother. This boy said that my paternal grandfather was very strongly opposed to Ahmadiyyat, but my mother accepted Ahmadiyyat in the later part of her life, and after the death, she has been buried in Bashti Maqbara, Qadian. And then he wrote that I have been prompted to dedicate my life because when I was born, that since that time my mother has been putting this thing into my ears, that I have dedicated your life, I have to dedicate your life for the service of religion. I was 4 or 5 years old when she passed away. But this thing which has been so much firmly established in my heart, that when I am grown up, when I have got the education and well established, I have got the diploma of BCG, then this is a desire which is always there in my heart, that my mother wished that I should be dedicating my life for the service of religion. But I am very busy in my worldly affairs. So I mentioned this thing to my father, and he also said that when this was the desire of your mother that you should be dedicated your life for the service of religion, then you should dedicate your life. Hadhrat Muslim Maud says that the mother passed away, and his son went into a different atmosphere. He went into the worldly side, and he got a higher education and got the diploma of BCG, and now he has got a good employment. But still in his heart, this anguish is there, this desire is there, that my mother used to tell me that I have to dedicate you for the service of religion, but I am busy in earning the worldly wealth. So this is the good result of the good training and education of the childhood, which the mother put into his mind. The child was only 4 or 5 years, but he kept this advice with him, and when he was able to serve the religion, then he dedicated his life for this purpose. So this is the role of the Ahmadi ladies, which is very much needed and required today. By the grace of Allah, at this very time, there are several such mothers who are including their children into Waqf-e-Nau. But after including them into Waqf-e-Nau, the care and the attention which is required for their training and tarbiyat, that is not being done. And this is the reason that there are some students, some boys, when they grow up, they have started writing to me that we do not want to continue in our dedication. If truly and sincerely the mothers have been putting this thing, what is the importance of Waqf, and you have to abide by that, so then such examples would never come in front of us. And there are several such mothers. When I say some mothers, so I would say rather that those who do not sit at home and they do not pay attention to the training of their children. In their worldly jobs, they are very busy. And this also comes into the same category in which Allah Almighty says that do not kill your children. So our children, they must give a serious thought to this matter. There are some young children, daughters, they leave their young family members at home. And in this very year in Canada, in Jalsa, when I advised the ladies, particularly in America, particularly I spoke about that. I remember that without any reason, without any genuine need, just as a hobby and enjoyment, they should not go for work. And now there is a new innovation which has started, which a new term has been coined. And some young children, they say, and to find out an excuse to, that we have to spend our time, and it is up to us that how we are going to spend this time. Rather, they should pay more attention to their family life. And then Hadhrat Muslim Maud Razillah Ta'ala Anhu says that some time ago, a student of college came to our house and she gave me a letter in which it was written that I want, for the service of religion, I want to devote my life. And Hadhrat Muslim Maud said that I told her that at this time, there is no arrangement for us to accept the dedication of the life from the girls. Because for tabligh purpose, the dedicator has to stay outside. Sometimes they have to go to foreign countries, and the ladies cannot go all alone. So if you want to dedicate your life, then you get married to a young devotee of life. She kept quiet and went away. And a class fellow of my wife came to know later on. She came to know that she had decided that I would be devoting my life, but now she has taken the lead. So then Allah Almighty made the arrangement that her marriage was there with a foreigner, devotee of life. So good intention really bears very good fruits. So our children as well, our daughters, our girls, they should also think the religious side, the religious aspect should be more important. And the boys should also do the same, that they should select those girls who are religious minded. And especially I have seen that when the proposal of the dedicators of life, boys is presented, they are rejected. But if Allah Almighty so intends after the prayer, if this is the case, then this should be generally accepted. And one should not simply reject without much thinking. Hadhrat Muslim Maud says that another young girl weeping came to me, and she said that I want to get married to a devotee of life, and they don't want me to get married to a devotee of life. And so I was surprised that how much devotion had he said Maulana Abul Atta Sahib, our Imam, he is the father of Imam Ataul Mujib Rashid Sahib, that he was told that he should educate the father of that girl. And then she said that my father has now agreed for my marriage to a devotee of life, and after the marriage he came again. That my father says that if you go outside abroad, if you go abroad with your husband, then I would not like to even see you at all. So Hadhrat Muslim Maud said that I am sick. This is during his last period, and so you do something and don't cry, and try to persuade your father. And then he says that Hadhrat Muslim Maud says that I said to Maulana Abul Atta again that he persuaded them again, and this is a jihad. The tabligh is a jihad, and the Waqf-e Zindagi devotees, men, they have to go outside, and the ladies cannot go outside alone. So they are not directly given this command, But when the desire is there created in their hearts, then Allah Almighty makes such arrangements that they are able to perform this duty as well. Then Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih Rabe, mentioning the sacrifice of a girl, he said, Mohtarama Shamim Akhtar Sahiba, Ahliya Maqbool Ahmad Sahib Shaheed says that my husband Maqbool Ahmad Sahib, in 1968, he did the Bai'at, and after accepting Ahmadiyyat, Maulvi used to tease him very much and torture him and threat him, and used to throw stones at night and should bang at the door. And there was a sewing machine to cut the wood was there. Once somebody who was covering his face, he came to buy some piece of wood, and with this excuse he attacked him with a dagger repeatedly and killed him there. So after the martyrdom of my husband, my in-law said that if you leave Ahmadiyya, then we will give you the protection. The threats were there from the enemy that you leave this religion and you come with us. We are going to embrace you lovingly. But this lady rejected all these things and did not agree to leave Ahmadiyya at any cost. And for the purpose for which her husband laid down his life, she continued to stay in that religion. And then there is another example. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih mentions that Suraya Sahiba says that in Gujranwala, Alipur, she used to reside in 1974 disturbance. When the procession came there, one night 5-6 people came to our house. My elderly respectable lady said that, what do you need? They say that we want to burn you and all your family members. At that lady said that if you are going to put our houses on fire, but at least you allowed us to go out. At that time, my brother-in-law, Inayat Begum, and they captured my father-in-law, Ghulam Qadir, and they dragged us away. We were all alone, we couldn't do anything. And right in front of my eyes, both of them, they were killed by bullets in front of me. Allah Almighty gave me steadfastness, and after 2 months, my mother also died. A very difficult situation time was there, but Allah Almighty helped me and gave me the steadfastness at every stage. And for the sake of Allah, she stuck to Ahmadiyyat, and she did not break this link with Ahmadiyyat at all. And then there is a mention of one sacrifice is mentioned there. Hanif Mahmud Sahib has written one article in that he has mentioned that when we went for the condolence to the mother of one martyr, when this incident happened in 2010, when we went there for the condolence, then at the words of sorrow, she stopped us, that lady. We went to express the sorrow, but she stopped us doing so. That don't express any sorrow to me. I am the mother of one martyr. The mother of a martyr and the wife and other relatives, they also mentioned that this is an honor for us, and these words have been used in all the houses, and the ladies have bore this very difficult time with great sacrifice of sentiments. And then it is mentioned in one article which was published in Al-Fazl that Ahmadi Khawateen, Ahmadi ladies and Waqf Zindagi, wife of Mistri Nuruddin Sahib in Ganj Mughalpura, she wrote a letter that today staying in Qadian is a great trial, great sacrifice. You do this duty with great steadfastness, and if you have to lay down your life in this way, then don't bother that. You remember that we will be happy with you when you take part in the safeguarding of the blessed place of the promised Messiah ﷺ, and show that example which behaves an Ahmadi. Don't worry, Allah Almighty will protect you. We are praying for you. Allah Almighty give you the steadfastness. Then in Shuhada-e Lahore, the martyrs of Lahore, about whom I have mentioned in my sermons before, I mentioned one incident here today. I have mentioned before as well that one lady writes to me that my young son, they went to offer the Jummah, but Allah Almighty saved them. But when this bloodshed was there in the mosque, so our neighboring lady, she came running. She came to my house and thinking that I would be crying and I would be weeping at that time, because their house was very close to the mosque, and they were also seeing what was happening and also seen on television. So when they came to me, so I said that our matter is in the hand of Allah Almighty. I don't worry about my children. All of them, they are to me as my children. If my children get martyred, then they would be very close to Allah Almighty, and if they are spared, then they would be Ghazi. And these ladies were very much surprised, and they went back that what a strange lady is that who is talking like that. Then I have already mentioned this point earlier on in the mention of the martyrs of Lahore, that one Ahmadi student who came here for some time for education, he came to see me and he told me that I want to tell you something about the courage and boldness of my mother. And this young man got 2 bullets in the mosque. He was hit by 2 bullets. He said that when I got injured, then I told my mother on phone that I have been hit by 2 bullets and bleeding is there. The mother said that, my son, I handed over to you to Allah. If martyrdom is your decree, I am getting the news that people are being martyred. Then with courage offer your life to Allah Almighty. Never ever show any cowardness. Anyway, this young man was saved. The bullet was taken out through operation. And this is the role of the mother and the example of the mother, that the mothers, they are giving such a training and they are preparing their children for martyrdom. And the relatives of these martyrs, those people who come for consolation, they are assuring them. So then such nations cannot be destroyed, whatever may be done against them, because these are the things. These things are not because of any anger of Allah Almighty. Rather, Allah Almighty is trying them with certain trials. We must pray to Allah Almighty that Allah Almighty safeguard us from all difficult trials, and show us such examples of His help that the enemies are completely frustrated. Amir Sahib Gambia writes that in North Bank, in one village, Isao is the name, the sister Aja Kinte is an elderly lady, and she did the bath at advanced age. The non-Ahmadi husband, and as they did not have any children, so non-Ahmadi husband was there and the children were not there. So despite that, she was very steadfast in her faith in Ahmadiyyat. Because of BP, she was also having sugar, and despite that she was doing gardening and give her contribution regularly. And she used to tolerate everything from the husband. All the hardships from the husband, she tolerates steadfastness. There is always smile on her face. Whenever there is an income from the garden, then he contacts the Jamaat and says that whatever zakat is payable, first receive that, and after that whatever are the remaining contributions, please deduct that. So this financial sacrifice is also there, is among those people who are newly converted people. A lady in Ivory Coast, Amri Okaro, she says that in 2008, when I saw that from our village large number of people, they are going to Ghana to meet Huzur, Khalifa Waqt, and she said that I am also willing to go. But she thought that my business is already almost nothing, and because of the journey I won't be able to do any further job. But depending on the Allah Almighty, I decided that I should go, and I went there. And when I went there and when I saw the Khalifa of the time and listened to his discourses, although I did not know his language, but although the translation was there in English and in the local language as well, translation was there, but still but I couldn't understand fully, but I was absolutely satisfied that my journey has not gone vain, and it has become a journey of blessing for me. So there are such people, those whether they understand English or not, but they listen carefully. But here sometimes the complaint is there from Lajna that the sound is correct, they are able to hear, listen carefully, but on the excuse of children, sometimes they become too busy in talking to one another. So we should try to learn lesson from these newcomers. So anyway, he says that since when I have come back from Ghana, then you look at the firmness of her faith. She says that up to 2012, my business is flourishing. As compared with 2008, it is 7-8 times more profit I am getting. My heart is satisfied, my faith is strengthened and strong, that after listening to that jalsa and gathering over there, and after meeting with Khalifa of the time, I have not lost on anything, rather I have gained more. And now I try that whatever instructions are issued by the Khalifa of the time, I always try to act upon that. Fazl Rahim Sahib, Circle in Charge, Sholapur, Maharashtra in India, he says that in Sholapur, the Jamaat was established 17 years ago here, and in order to organize the Jamaat along with the men, the ladies also offered great sacrifices. Muhammad Ismail Sheikh Sahib, who was the president at that time, he says his wife Shamim Begum Sahiba says that she is daughter of Nisar Ahmad Sahib, who was also an Ahmadi, but after the nikah of the daughter, but the father left the Jamaat after that, and he started opposing the Jamaat, and also compelled the lady to leave Ahmadiyyat, and he tortured her own daughter for this very purpose, so much so that the jewelry given to her, that was taken back. But Shamim Begum Sahiba, despite all that, she stood to her faith and showed steadfastness, and she tried to persuade the father, but the father did not pay, and he eventually had to lose his property and money, but Shamim Begum said that I cannot leave Ahmadiyyat, whatever sacrifice I might have to make. It was suggested that this lady, along with her husband, she went to Qadian for some time. On the way, they were threatened to be killed on the way many times, but she said to her father that I am in the truth. If you are in need of salvation, if you wish to have this salvation, you should also accept this path. You should come at the feet of the promised Messiah, Imam Mahdi. And then she hung up the phone, and after that she stayed in Qadian for several months, and now she has gone back to her area, and she is spending her life very happily over there. From India, there is another incident. Hafiz Rehan Ahmad Sahib, who along with his family in 2000, he did the Bai'at. His mother Raisa Khatun, he says that after my doing Bai'at in our village in Saharanpur, UP, we were strongly opposed, and all the family members and the relatives, they opposed us. The family members and the relatives, they opposed us. But Allah Almighty enabled my parents and my brothers to become Ahmadi. And after my father became an Ahmadi, then in the village, our relatives and neighbors, they started abusing us very strongly. But my mother, by the grace of Allah, with great boldness, she confronted this opposition. There were mullahs from Darul Uloom Deoband. For many days, they tried to make us understand, and after that they gave us various threats. But because of the encouragement and strongness of my mother, all these mullahs, they went back defeated, and this one family continued to stay in Ahmadiyyat by the grace of Allah. Lucknow, the Amir Sahib from Lucknow writes that there is a lady Bakrida Khatun is the name perhaps, Sitapur UP, from there. and she is a widow. In 1996, she accepted Ahmadiyyat along with the children. All the village stood in their opposition, and once one son was getting education in his school, and the opponents, they threatened this lady that if your son does not leave Ahmadiyya, then he will be thrown out of the school. And the Maulvis came and torturing this family, but the lady was very firm, and eventually her son was thrown out of the school, and he said sent her son to Qadian for a further education. And when the opponents came to know about that, they threatened him furthermore, that now you have sent your son to Qadian, they will take out the kidneys of those son. This is also the one of the falsehood of these mullahs and false allegations. But the reply given by the mother was that if Ahmadis take the life of all my children, but I have found the reality, I have found the truth, I am not going to go back on that. So whatever may happen to you. So despite all the opposition, she stood steadfastness, and she got her two sons educated in Qadian, and now she is also in the forefront of financial sacrifices. From another report from Lucknow is Raisa Khatun Sahiba says, Raisa Khatun says that she is all alone in her town, and the whole village is non-Ahmadis, and after the death of the husband, the opponents they threatened them in every way that you have to leave Ahmadiyyat, otherwise it will be difficult for you to stay on here. You have got young daughters, who is going to marry them? But this lady always replied to the opponents that I would get my daughters married to Ahmadis, even if they have to stay virgin for the whole lifetime. It was not only it was the statement of the mother, the ladies also, the girls also said that we are not going to get married to any non-Ahmadi. And the daughters are also so dedicated to Ahmadiyyat. Her daughters, they also gave the same reply, that if we are going to get married to Ahmadis, then if we are going to get married, that is going to be with an Ahmadi. And when they go outside, then the opponent people, they use foul language and rebuke them in so many ways. But and they are surprised that despite our threatening and foul wording, but they are not affected at all. But the non-Ahmadis have not been able to attack their house anyway. And two of those daughters, they have already got married with Ahmadis. The Amir Sahib Indonesia says that one lady, Taha Sahiba, did the bath, and she got into Ahmadiyyat. And after that, from the mother and other family members, they opposed her very strongly. The mother said that if you do not leave Ahmadiyyat, then you do not come to me when I die, and don't touch my body. And so much opposition was there that lady, she had to leave her village and business and house everywhere and go somewhere else. But they stood with the Ahmadiyyat, particularly this Ahmadi lady, and she says that if I leave Ahmadiyyat and then I go back to my village, then I will get a lot of worldly benefits. But as I have got the truth of Ahmadiyyat in me, therefore now to leave Ahmadiyyat, it is impossible. I have given preference to my faith on the world. This is a good example of this fulfilling this covenant which this lady living thousands of miles away, she is showing through the demonstration. Then Amir Sahib Indonesia says, in Tasak Malaya, Sikasari community, there is an incident that the husband of an Ahmadi lady is a non-Ahmadi, and one name of their daughter is Mulyanti, and she lives with her paternal grandfather, who are Ahmadis. The father of that girl got sick, and he said that if you want to meet me, that you renounce Ahmadiyyat and then you come to me. He also threatened his wife to divorce her. At that, the national president asked her that, what do you wish? Do you want to go to your father after renouncing Ahmadiyyat? Crying and weeping, she said that although his father is very seriously ill, and I wish that I should go and see him and I embrace him, and he also needs me, but I cannot leave my Jamaat. I can sacrifice my father, but I can sacrifice my sentiments, but I cannot sacrifice Ahmadiyyat. I cannot sacrifice my faith. This is the strength and the strength of the faith. These are the real stories which are being written everywhere in the world of Ahmadiyyat. From Kenya, Bisharat Ahmad Sahib Missionary writes that in Eldoret, in the Jamaat Katano, the elderly lady over there, by the grace of Allah, along with her family, she was unable to get into the community. When the opponents came to know, then they opposed very strong, and some of them boycotted them. And recently with the help from Saudi Arabia, Mukutano, in that village, a very big mosque has been constructed. And in order to bring the people along with them, financial help is being given to them, money is being given, and dollars are being thrown upon them. So these people went to this lady, Ahmadi lady, that what Ahmadiyyat has given to you. And instead of giving you any help, they receive contributions from you. So you join with us, come to our mosque, and you will get the help all the time. At that, poor lady, Ahmadi lady, replied that in the greed of money, I am not going to come to your mosque. You are the one who are creating disorder. You do not have the faith of Islam. The true Islam is with Ahmadiyyat. Ahmadiyyat has given us that light which you do not have. Now our life and death is in Ahmadiyyat. And we are attached to that one. And I say, and she said to those mullahs and those people who came, that you also come into the fold of Ahmadiyyat and you will get all the peace. And at that time they went back saying that this lady has gone mad. Leave her alone. And then in Tamil Nadu, India, Bishara Sahib says, he is the Amir there, that a new Jamaat in Katlor, when recently from the opponents, the Tahaffuz-e-Khatm Nubuwwat, in the name of that, this is the so-called Tahaffuz-e-Khatm Nubuwwat, the real protection of Khatm Nubuwwat is given by the Jamaat Ahmadiyya. In the name of that, when they held the meeting, in that against the promised Messiah ﷺ, their abuses and foul language. So the Ahmadis in reply to that, the following week they wanted to hold the Jalsa Sirto Nabi. But the opponents, in order to stop that, they opposed that tooth and nail. And they went to the government authorities and incited them. So these police people, they decided to stop our meeting, and police also took side with them, one of our Muballigh, in order to seek the permission when he went to the police station. At that time, one of the ladies who were present there, one lady, Aisha Bibi, she said that it is very essential for me to go. She put on her burqa and she went to police station, that lady. And because on that day there were very few from the men, most of them they had gone to their jobs. So, and the people who were present there at that time, those who may not have been able to present their view properly. So when the missionary spoke to the police officer, the police said that you are not a local person and you are not entitled to get the permission because you are not a local resident here. So now you go back. So it is very essential for the local people to come here, and then we will consider. This is the excuse they thought. At that, Aisha Bibi Sahiba, she spoke out very loudly that I am a local resident here. You give me the permission. Why cannot we express the truth of our faith? We are going to hold the meeting and we are going to present the superiority of the Ahmadiyyat, and we will establish that the real love and affection and devotion for the Holy Prophet ﷺ is in the hearts of Ahmadis. And the police officers, they listened to it, and finally the permission was given because of this bold effort done by that Ahmadiyya. In Calcutta zone, again from Bengal, there is another incident in August 2012 in Ramzan, on 29th, a Jamaat Ahmadiyya in Atapur, after the Fajr prayer, the non-Ahmadis came with their sticks to attack the Ahmadis. They wanted to attack the mosque and they attacked the Muallim there. But Ahmadi ladies, very boldly, they took the Muallim in their circle and they escorted him safely to the Ahmadi house. And because of the protecting the Mollim, the ladies had some beatings, but they continued to perform their duty. But that protection of that man was done by the ladies and confronted the opponents they did, and this was the bold courageous attitude of the ladies. And then Amir Sahib Bangladesh says that in Sundarband, when the mosque was when the non-Ahmadis they attacked our they fixed a board of the Qadiani place of worship, and then brought out a procession and attacked our mosque, and they started looting the property there. So all the men had gone to protect the mosque, and the ladies were at home. So the ladies, they confronted the opponents very boldly. 12 were injured, and they were taken into Dhaka Medical Hospital, and they stayed there for quite some time, and then they came back. But they confronted the men, the attacking men, and they did not let their faith go waste. Amir Sahib Gambia says that in upper region, the sister Fatuba and her husband in 2001, they were attacked by the people of the village, and the head of the village was also there. He was the chief, and her husband was profusely injured. He was taken to hospital. He was there in hospital, and when there was a naming ceremony being conducted, this is the ceremony function. The function takes place there at that moment, and the attackers, they destroyed all the utensils of the food, and the members of the family, they have all there, and there was dust and sand put into the food, and it became waste. And after that they attacked the mosque as well, and it was demolished. And when their relatives they came, and when they came to know, they came to protect them. The relatives, they said that what we can do is that we can just take you out to a safe place. When this husband and wife was told that you should leave this area now, so then this lady said that we value your help that you have offered, that we are thank you for coming here, but we are Ahmadis, and without the permission of the Jamaat we are not going to vacate this area. So when they contacted the area missionary, he said that it has never happened that we have vacated any place because of enmity of the Ahmadiyya, so you have to stay there. So at that, the lady said to all of them that come what may, but we are not going to leave this place. And if this lady had not shown this boldness at this moment, then this area would have been completely without Ahmadiyya. And after that, later on, with the intervention of the Markaz, and they report to the regional commissioner, and they control the situation. Now by the grace of Allah, the mosque which they demolished, that has been rebuilt, and there is a Mollim, and Jamaat is established, and through MTA, this very program is being seen there at this time, because through solar panel the arrangement has already been made there. So these are the few examples which I have presented before you in order to tell you that these are the examples which we have to continue to perform in future. And this I have presented these examples to tell you that the pleasure of Allah Almighty, and to prefer religion to the world, that cannot be achieved without the pleasure, without the sacrifice. No girl should be in this complex that these people, other people do not know the fashion, or the other people do not know about the Bollywood and this and that. This I have said because I came to know about one girl, that she is very much worried that in the school the other friends asked her that do you know about the Bollywood, and she said, what is Bollywood? And they started laughing at that, that even you don't know about that, so what progress you are going to make, and what are you going to learn here? So don't worry about these things like the worldly people, that we do not know about Bollywood and other things, or the worldly things, we do not know about that. Don't worry about these things. Or you do not say that I should have a B time, that this is a new term that they have coined. But if the time of your prayer is going away, and if there is a shortcoming in your recitation of the Quran, if there is a deficiency in learning the translation of the Holy Quran, then be careful about that. If an Ahmadi lady, if from the Khalifa of the time, if a lady, the ladies are called upon to come forward for the service to religion, then this should be a point of concern for them. If you are hiding your faith and you are suffering from some sort of complex, then this is a point of worry. So remember that the great job for which Hadhrat Masih Maud Islam came to this world, in order to accomplish that, to be his helper, if there is a need of Ansar and Khuddam, similarly we have the need of Lajna. So in order to serve the religion with a renewed passion and desire and dedication and commitment, today you go back from here and try to always maintain that in order to get the pleasure of Allah Almighty. All the worldly sacrifices have to be offered, and all these desires which are put into your heart from others, eliminate all that. Allah Almighty enable all of you to do so. Now you join in prayer, please. Ameen. Huzur is asking about the report from Germany. Huzur is asking about the report in UK, 5,900. UK attendance is 5,950, and in Germany 5,500 something. Anyway, today Lajna UK has beaten Lajna Germany. Huzur says that if you want to raise slogans, then it should be raised properly. Huzur says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and he leaves.
صل على محمد